Okay, so the popcorn junkie on his own is going to give you something about Avengers Endgame. Yes, we saw it today. No, we're not going to do a spoiler review until spoiler reviews start to come through. Obviously, you have the choice to watch a spoiler review or not, but of course there's the temptation that some horrible individual could then copy some part of your spoiler review and share it with someone else. So we're not doing a spoiler review. This is a non-spoiler initial review / reaction to the film. Obviously it picks up at the place where Thanos has clicked his fingers and half of the entire universe has vanished in a puff of ash. This is an almost impossible film to talk about without talking about something that is a spoiler. Right down to whether characters are in it, whether characters survive, whether characters die, all these kind of things. What happens to those people who disappeared in Avengers Infinity War? Lots of theories about will they return? Are the ones that have survived, are they the ones that are going to vanish next? Can there be time travel? Can they go back in time and correct and undo Thanos' click of the finger? Can they go and get the Infinity Stones and all that sort of stuff? So we're not going to give any of that away. That's all theories. Those are all theories that are all out there, well traversed, well discussed, and it's up to you to find out when you go and see it. But what I would say is, was it the event that we were all hoping for? I mean, a film of this size and calibre, and it's charging already towards 300 million at the box office just in the States, and they're talking about it possibly being $1 billion film within a matter of days worldwide. It really was a rip-roaring, I'd say, theme park ride of a film. It clocks in at 3 hours. It's very clearly, and it's quite nice and neat, and I quite enjoyed the fact that you can really identify the 3 acts of this film, and there are 3 quite distinct acts. And sometimes the danger when you have 3 very clearly defined acts like that is that you begin to feel like 2 films, or sometimes even more films, have been sort of awkwardly stitched together in order to make the bigger whole. And what you felt with this was a sort of real sense of rhythm. It moved rhythmically. It started, its first act, without giving anything away, obviously, its first act was surprisingly, I'd say, still, or surprisingly dour or somber. We had a chance to see those who've survived the click of the finger. We had a chance to see some of our favourite characters being very human, looking very vulnerable, experiencing things in a almost non-superhero way, and that for me was a really refreshing start to the film. So it felt like you were moving into a film. I don't want to give away the opening scene. There's a pre-title scene that I thought was so expertly handled. I sort of leant across and said to Maddie and Kiki, I said, "Oh my God, that's so powerful." And what was powerful about it, without giving anything away, was how undramatic it was, and yet it was very dramatic. So there you go. I've given nothing away, but I've given you a sense of the very opening scene. So be paying attention as soon as the lights go down, because you cut straight hard into live action, and it's quite disconcerting and deceiving because it's a sort of deceptively undramatic opening shot. Did I cry in this film? Did we cry in this film? There is a lot of crying to be had watching Avengers Endgame. Some of it's for joy, some of it is for genuine sadness. There are 3 gasp out loud moments, and that doesn't necessarily revolve around the most obvious things that you'd think that might mean, but there are 3 very gasp out loud moments. Individually, me, Maddie and Kiki and Nanny in fact, were all crying at very different times for very different reasons. Suffice it to say, Ant-Man, which we see in the trailer, has a surprisingly significant role in this film. And it was a joy, if I'm honest. I've missed Paul Rudd's comedy bones, and so to have a bit of comedy coming from Paul Rudd was wonderful. So in terms of some of our sort of favourite characters, I think I can talk about them without necessarily spoiling what happens in the film. So Ant-Man, an absolute joy. We get a real opportunity to bed in with his sort of disconcerted disbelief that he's sort of surrounding himself or involved with anything on a sort of spectacular scale. Not only is he small in size when he gets into his suit, but he clearly feels that he's small in significance, and that's always very funny to witness. Thor, well, just when you thought Thor and Chris Hemsworth couldn't take that character to new comedy levels, as well as levels of pathos as well, he does, and they do. And again, without giving anything away, I was laughing out loud, truly amused and blown away by the development of Thor's character. Black Widow, again, one of the characters that it was really nice to see a sort of more contemplative side to Scarlett Johansson's performance. I thought we see some of the best acting from Scarlett across the series of Avengers films. Iron Man's there. As we know from the trailer, Iron Man is in the film, and what we get of Iron Man is the usual. We have the ubiquitous arched eyebrow, wicked sense of humour, egotistical sense of self. But what I did like is that all of the characters, especially Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of the Hulk, we get to see a lot more of some of the heroes and some of the characters that we just haven't had centre stage for quite a while. So I was really pleased to see the Hulk featured quite heavily. It was really wonderful to see Nebula comes to the fore. Nebula has quite a critical part in the story. And Iron Man likewise has a very surprising role in the film. His contribution is the usual Robert Downey Jr. effort. Captain America, for the first time, I found myself going into this film with the attitude that if anyone dies, I don't mind if Captain America dies. Well, here's the thing about Captain America. For the first time across the entire Avengers franchise, I found myself not only liking Captain America, but I found him funny, and I really warmed to him. And again, without giving away what happens, I really enjoyed Captain America's story arc. So Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Ant-Man, some real opportunities for us to bed in. And what I also loved about this film was lots of the smaller characters, a lot of the supporting cast that we love in all the other films. Many of them feature on the edges of frame. So you get some real sort of indulgent moments. And in that sense, it reminded me a little bit of the Star Wars films where, you know, you might have one scene where some droid or some character in a bar or something walks in. But in this, you get lots of sort of, so there's a lot of, oh my God, look, it's such and such. Oh my God, look, it's him from, or it's, oh look, it's her from there. Another character who I thought was absolutely brilliant, and I must admit, with each film that goes by, Rocket Raccoon, absolutely hysterical. Loved him, absolutely loved him. And you forget that he's a CGI created raccoon. The fact that everyone keeps calling him a rabbit is just wonderful. The fact that he's got a temper on him, just like our dog Toffee, brilliant. Another surprise in this, obviously Captain Marvel. We've all known that Captain Marvel was going to play a crucial role in this film. What I liked about this film, and this isn't a spoiler, is that Captain Marvel obviously has a critical contribution to make, but it's not the only contribution, and that for me made it a really rich opportunity. I was slightly concerned we were just going to have some supernova character come in and just change everything for the better, but what we had here was, you know, a slight development of Captain Marvel's character. We weren't huge fans of the film, but I thought the way they bedded her in, it was good. She was a team player, she was part of the crowd, and, you know, clearly she's a spectacular superhero. She also earmarked a very significant element of the film, which was there's a lot of girl power in this film. You know, a lot of the female characters really take the lead. There's some really powerful, empowering, sisterhood type shots as well as sequences, and yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. It's important to say, if you're desperate for the loot, there is no convenient time to go to the toilet, but what you can do is there is not an end credits scene or sequence either at the end of the first set of credits or right at the end. So as soon as that first credit comes up, you can dash to the loo. Would I say this is a great film? I would say that this is an absolutely appropriate conclusion to 21 movies under the stewardship of Kevin Feige and the team of Avengers actors, producers, directors. It's a brilliant culmination of 21 films. It allows you very cleverly, without giving anything away, it allows you very cleverly to indulge in the mastery and the journey that we've all been on. It allows you to revisit that in a sort of nostalgic sort of almost journey back in order to travel forward. And so, you know, whilst, you know, the end of this film is truly transformational. On the one hand, it definitely brings things to a definite conclusion, but on another, it definitely leaves us on the cliff edge, hankering to know what's going to happen next in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Go and see it, absolutely. Spoiler review coming in the next 5 days.
For more film and family fun, don't forget to click the subscribe button and make sure to click the bell to never miss an update.